Sultan Suleiman and his wife Hürrem Sultan were ruling the empire together from their palace in Istanbul. Suleiman's former love, his first favorite and the mother of his first son, Mahidevran, was living alone in seclusion in Bursa, a day's journey away, near her son's grave. Once considered certain to become the most powerful woman of the empire, how did this woman end up waiting out her days in a small house, mourning her son? To understand this tragic scene, we go back to the Ottoman Empire's most magnificent yet most turbulent years. The story begins in Manisa, 2 days from Istanbul. Suleiman was still a prince, governing his province as the sole heir to the throne. Mahidevran won the prince's heart and soon stood out among nearly 20 concubines in the harem as the leading woman. In this period, a warm and trusting bond formed between them. In 1515, Prince Mustafa was born. In the Ottoman order, being a prince's mother strengthened a woman's position at court. Mahidevran closely oversaw her son's education and upbringing. From childhood on, she worked for Mustafa to grow into a careful, just, and generous prince. Suleiman, too, remained closely involved with his son. After 7 years in Manisa, Suleiman was called to the throne upon the death of Selim I, Yavuz. The family moved to Istanbul shortly after. This new life meant stricter rules and heavy protocol. Mahidevran was no longer the beloved at Suleiman's side. She was now part of the palace order. The warmth of Manisa gave way to formality. Mahidevran was no longer the woman in the Sultan's heart, but as the mother of a prince, took her place within the state hierarchy. Her role was official rather than emotional. She maintained discipline in the harem, supervised palace staff, and took part in ceremonies. No longer part of love, but of order. In the same period, a new concubine was brought to the palace, Alexandra. Unlike the Manisa years, Suleiman's emotions had slipped into the background. With Alexandra's arrival, that balance broke. A strong closeness grew between them, not only for her beauty, but for her constant cheer, sincere attention, and ability to soften the Sultan's mind. Suleiman gave her the name Hürrem, meaning joyful. Hürrem rose quickly. Her influence was noticed by everyone in the palace. Tension increased between her and Mahidevran. According to some sources, during an argument, Mahidevran beat Hürrem. Its accuracy is uncertain, but it is said that this caused Suleiman to distance himself from Mahidevran even further. Suleiman then took an unprecedented step in Ottoman history and married Hürrem. Until that day, no concubine had been made a lawful wife. For Mahidevran, there was no path back. Remaining a mother loyal to tradition, she focused on protecting her son's future, while Hürrem fully took her place in the Sultan's heart and at the center of the court. Mustafa grew up and, by custom, was sent as governor to the provinces. Mahidevran accompanied him as the head of his princely harem. She took part in his education and councils. Sources write that thanks to his charismatic, just, and generous manner, Mustafa was greatly loved among the people and the Janissaries. Over time, rivalry among the princes intensified. Rumors circulated in the palace, letters, suggestions, false reports. Some claims pointed to plots by Hürrem and her son-in-law Rustem Pasha. However, definitive proof was lacking. What the records make clear is this: Suleiman had begun to think more like a sovereign than a father, and certain dark influences had led him to suspect even his most beloved son. In 1553, the critical moment came during the Persian campaign. Prince Mustafa was summoned to the camp and, by the Sultan's order, was executed in the Sultan's tent before his father's eyes. He was accused of treason. This is regarded as one of the most shattering breaks in 6 centuries of Ottoman history. For Mahidevran, it was not a turning point, but a thick, bloody line cut through the center of her life. Nothing was ever the same again. Mahidevran withdrew to Bursa. She lived near her son's tomb. At times, she faced financial hardship. After Suleiman's death, Hürrem's son Selim came to the throne. Mahidevran's stipend was restored, and her finances improved somewhat. During this period, she continued to honor her son's memory and tend to his tomb. Her life was quiet and without display. She died in Bursa in 1581 and was buried beside Prince Mustafa. Today, Mahidevran is remembered in historical narratives as an unfortunate queen. The phrase is really a summary: a life that rose high, a heavy trial, and a quiet ending. She is remembered with a cool, solemn weight. Today in Bursa, she rests among marble and prayers,